One of the big issues in New Orleans right now is crime. One of the strongest crime-fighting tools we have is a fair, efficient, and equitable criminal justice system. And only if you have that in place are you going to be able to successfully, in the long run, reduce crime and make your community a safe place to live. Evidence is key in any kind of criminal justice system. That is the basis for what we use to prove guilt and innocence. The police evidence room was actually a subterranean room. So it essentially became a fishbowl during the flood, and the entire evidence room was underwater, completely underwater, for a number of weeks. And this included the gun room, the drug room, and the evidence from rape and homicide, as well as all the other evidence. It sat in water, probably 95 degrees at the time, for weeks. The clerk of court's evidence room was also adjacent to the coroner's office, and it was my understanding that there were a number of bodies that had floated off also into the evidence room. The water went up to approximately about a 6-foot level at one point and sort of settled back down at about a 4-foot level for some weeks. Most evidence was stored in brown paper boxes and brown bags, and if it was a lightweight item, it would sort of have floated out into the aisles of the various rooms. Much of the evidence was separated from its labeling and from its identification. Some of the evidence had been destroyed by sitting in the water. Of course, there are going to be pieces of evidence that are lost that will preclude people from being prosecuted. And similarly, though, there are going to be pieces of evidence that were lost that are going to have been the exonerating piece of evidence for some defendant who, with that piece of evidence, would have been able to prove their innocence, and perhaps now they can't.